May 6, 1997, and you were describing what it was like to be a smuggler from the Warsaw Ghetto.
I was lucky, let's put it that way. There were a lot of us smugglers, plenty of us. But they took chances. They were caught, they weren't shot at that time or they weren't killed. They were just the things that they were smuggling into the ghetto was taken away from them. And I remember one day that I had some, was it eggs or butter or whatever that I was smuggling into the ghetto. And the German soldier, there were Jewish police in the ghetto, and there were Polish police and the Germans at the gates where you were you're not supposed to go farther than that. And one of the Germans, I went by, and all of a sudden he said to the Jewish policeman, go after me, to catch me back. And I started running. And then I finally wound up at an apartment building, and he was chasing me. And I said to him, leave me go, because I am Jewish. I am not a shikser. Leave me go, because he's going to take away my stuff. And he wouldn't listen. He was a Jew. A Jewish. I said, but I am Jewish. Didn't you understand? No. And he took me back. But of course, he didn't tell him that I was Jewish. He just told me because I had a house, from school. Anyway, and he took away the butter with the eggs and everything. He told me to go home. And that's what happened because of the Jew, that he wouldn't listen to me, that I just go back and tell him that I was lost, I'm lost. He cannot find me. He didn't, he wouldn't, okay? That was one time. But I did not have anything else besides, like, I was caught in the streetcar by the Volksdeutsch, and then they had a bridge between if you wanted to go to the small ghetto, you had to cross that bridge. It was, here's the street, and I crossed the way, and there were gates on the streets. If the streetcar came by, the gate opened, and then it closed. And you had to go through those bridges. Oh, you must have seen it if you watched the Holocaust on the movie, on the movies when they showed those bridges.
Were you ever afraid?
Was I ever afraid? Not really, because I was young. I was a tomboy. Not really. We knew what was going on. The only thing I was afraid of, we found kids, little kids on the street, starved to death. That was I afraid of. As a matter of fact, that my aunt and my grandmother, they died from starvation. And the other cousins, as a matter of fact, I have twin daughters. It's in my family because one of the aunts, one of my father's sister had a twin, 2 girls. And they would have been the same age as me now. And I don't know what happened to them. I only know that my grandmother and my aunt, she died of course, they didn't have anybody. All the sons left, 2 sons and a daughter went to Russia. I'm talking about my grandmother, but nobody else was dead. And they had a little girl, a cousin of my Chayele, and a little boy the same age as my brother. I know he went once over to get something, to smuggle in, to make some money for food or something. He was caught by the German, and he had eggs. Of all things, he bought eggs to smuggle. And they started beating him, and all the eggs inside of him started dripping. I'll never forget it. And we couldn't do nothing. We couldn't say nothing because I could not do anything for him. We couldn't do anything because otherwise we would be caught the same way.
Did you carry any false papers or false identification?
I had an identification, school identification with my picture, made up and a Polish name. Yes, I did. That's what I had. And my name was Marisha. To this day, people still remember me as Marisha. The people, they didn't call me Mindall at that time, only Marisha. And I was with my younger sister, and we left Poland, not Poland actually, Warsaw. My sister and I left Warsaw to go travel anywhere just to get out. And when we went, and I said goodbye to my mother, and I never saw her again.
When did you leave?
We left in 1942. It was very, very bad. It became, no, what am I talking? It was in 1942. No. It was in, it was close to the end already of the war. It was 1944. So when we finally left, because there was a guy that finally, he found out that I am Jewish, and he was blackmailing me. And of course I never gave him a penny, because I always refused that I'm not Jewish. And I was afraid of him, because he's one of these days, like Goyima, they drink, and one of these days, if they don't have the money to buy a can of beer, they can kill you, which they did. For a loaf of bread, they did.
Where were your sister and you living when you left the ghetto?
In ghetto, we were living in Warsaw, in the Warsaw ghetto.
But when you left the ghetto, where did you go?
We just went. We went in the world. A world traveler we became. My sister and I. We both don't look Jewish. And we went to the station, the depot. And we bought us, and we said to one another, I said, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? We are hungry. We have nothing. We have no money. What are we going to do? So she said, we'll go, let's see, and stay and watch where the people are going, all the people that buy tickets. And we'll watch and we'll see. All of a sudden, here comes a young woman. To me, those young women, they were, I was 14, 15 years old then, when she looked, maybe she was 18 or 19 or 20, who knows. And she wore this Polish outfit that they wear, the national outfit that they have. And so my sister says to me, let's go and follow her. Wherever she's going to go, we're going to follow her. And so she bought a ticket to go about 60 kilometers from Warsaw, And here she come, and when she went down, we went down, and we went out, and we saw her walking. There were no cars to pick us up or anything. And she started walking, and we followed her. And all of a sudden, we see that she's going into a big house, a big farm, or whatever it was. So we were afraid. That must be from the Germans or something, maybe the Germans there. I said, so we stopped. We did not go. So we started to go from one house to the next at the farm, and asking for food. No, not for food. We were asking for a job to be able to work. But everybody refused us, and they said they gave us raw potatoes, some bread, and something, raw carrots. So what are we going to do? So we threw away the potatoes because we were not going to go home with raw potatoes. So we finally walked and walked and walked, and here dusk was coming, and what are we going to do? So we came to a farm, a big farm. And we asked for work. So the housekeeper, she said she did not know. He was from the royalty or something. He was like a baron or a duke or whatever, the guy that owned that big farm. And she said she wants to help us, but she does not know whether we can use you as a, she has to ask the big boss, the big guy. And then it was, and they had also a maid. She was cooking and cleaning and a maid. So she asked them, maybe she's going to help her. And so she said, you know what, why don't you wait? That was the maid that told us. I said, why don't you wait till the housekeeper will come and I'll ask her. We talked to her first, and then she said, when she comes, I'll ask her. So, and that's what we were sitting and tired and hungry, and we didn't know where to go, where to turn. So we were sitting on a little bench there, and finally she came out. She said, come on in the kitchen, we'll give you some food, and you can stay here for overnight. But would you like to know where they told us to go sleep? And a barn on top of where they had kept the hay and the straw for the cows, and there were rats there running, this big like cats. We couldn't sleep a whole night, and we could not wait till the night will be over. And when finally dawn was breaking, and I said, oh my God, let's go down because so they told us that we can stay. I will be working in the fields, and my sister will be helping the maid in the house to clean up. And they gave us a room in the house, but no bed. There was straw just spread on the floor, and that's how we slept. But we were happy. We had food. My sister got so fat that she couldn't bend down. I had to wash her feet because she couldn't bend down. And we stayed there for about 2 or 3 months as shiksas, you know what a shiksa is, don't you? So we stayed there, and winter came. In winter, in the fields, there's no one works there. It's not Florida, it's not California, but snow and the cold, and so the housekeeper, she was very nice. And there was also a bookkeeper there that used to go every week to Warsaw to give reports, because they had to deliver whatever they had to the Germans in those days. So he went every week to Warsaw to give reports, or to give them what they did, what they took out, and what they spent. And every week he came back from Warsaw telling a story, what's happening to the Jews, what they're doing to the Jews. And of course we heard that, the two of us, and I said, what are we going to do? Who knows whether anybody's still alive? And but we couldn't help, but we couldn't say, hey, I want to go back. And we told her when we went there, when they took us in, we told her that our mother is still alive, but our father is dead. And so then that housekeeper, the maid, you want me to continue? The housekeeper had also a son, the same age as my sister. And they said, so we found a way how to get to Warsaw, to see whether they're still alive or not. But because my mother at that time was still alive, so was my sister, my brother, my younger sister, and some other, but how to get back to Warsaw. So my sister and this boy, started fighting with one another. So the housekeeper said, well, it cannot go on like that. If you're not going to behave, we're going to send you home. And that's what we waited for. So they sent my sister back. And they gave her some food, some flour, some sugar, some fat, to bring home for the mother. And she saw my mother. She still saw my mother. My mother was still alive. And And so was the three that did survive. My other sister was taken away. Marsha was taken away already. Anyway, so my mother did not believe my sister when she came back. She said, "Where did you leave Mindall? Where did they kill her? She's not alive, is she?" So she said, "Mama, Mindall is alive. I just came here to see whether you are alive, whether you still are here. No, I don't believe you. You better tell me where she is buried." And she said, "Mama, no, she's still alive. Don't think that. They sent me here, and I will be going." So she wrote me a letter. I received a letter from her, and she told me that everybody's already gone from Warsaw Ghetto. Most of them, they're liquidating the ghetto, and they are sending the Jews everywhere, anywhere, to Treblinka. My sister was already gone. And you know what? They found out they were smuggling my sister, and they found out that my sister's in that place where all the Jews are. And they gave some food for that. Whether she received it, we don't know, because whoever she gave it to, they must have been hungry too. And when they marched them off, whoever they were going to take him, my sister tried to get out from the Germans were, but she was afraid. My sister said, get away, don't, because they take you in too. Get away." And that's how she went. And my mother went the same way. Never saw my mother again. To this day.
Did your sister come
She
back?
was crying over me, now I'm crying over her.
Did your sister come back to where you were?
Yeah. Yeah, then they sent me off to a place, to another place to stay over the winter, to be with a woman, to help the woman, to be her companion or her maid, to make her bed, to cook her food, or not cook her food, but I wouldn't be able to cook. But the thing is, why I left is she had one room for herself, and me, she gave a koffer. You know what a koffer is? Not a blanket, not a pillow, not nothing. She told me to sleep outside. And I was freezing, cold, and I didn't have enough food, and I was always hungry. So I said, what the heck am I doing here? Why should I sit here and serve that Polish anti-Semite, you know, and I said, no, I'm going to leave. I don't care what's going to happen to me, but I'm going to go. One Sunday, I got up very early. I took my things. I always carried books with me. I love to read a lot. And I took my books and my stuff, whatever I had, and I started out walking. I said that I'm going to the church. You know, you have to go to church. And I started walking, and I made 40 kilometers in about 5 hours or 6 hours. My feet, I did not feel my feet anymore. And I came back to that big farm, and she said, why did you come? Why did you run away? I said, well, and I told her the story. Why should I stay there when she doesn't feed me? She doesn't give me a place where to sleep. Why should I stay there? I might as well go home and starve there. So we went back to Warsaw. But nobody was home anymore. Nobody was there anymore. So that's when we wind up going to Dublin. So we bought tickets. And of course I saw the same guy. Because of this guy, I left Warsaw. I saw him at the station, but he did not recognize it. He didn't have the cycle that I could be still alive. And the two of us were sitting, crouched in the corner, you know, and then this German comes over, Volksdeutsch, also speaking Polish. I don't know how old he was, but he didn't look young. To me, he was old. And he said to me and my sister, where are you going? What are you doing here? Why are you doing by yourself? Where are your parents? So we told them we were trying to get to Dublin. And he said, come, I have a nice place. Come with me. I'll give you food. You can sleep there. And sure enough, he wasn't after my sister. He was after me. An old fool there. And so so we went. Why should we sit here in the cold? We can't sit there. So we went. He gave us food. And he had beds of sleep in a train. It was a wagon train, and he had everything like an apartment in that. And he sent off my sister to sleep. And when he was sitting and drinking wine or beer, of course he didn't give me any. I don't believe that he did, he gave me something to drink, and I had enough food. I was full, and I said, something is not right here. I'm not going to stay here either. I know what he's after, and I'm not going to go give in. And I said, and I saw it. I didn't say anything to him. I just went to the other room, to this bedroom, and I started waking my sister. So she said, what do you want from me? Leave me sleep. I said, Edda, of course, it wasn't Edda, that name, Grisha, get up. We have to get out of here. But he didn't make a fuss. He didn't say nothing, and he let us go. So that we were lucky with. Evidently, he needed some whatever he was after, but he didn't find it in me. And we were waiting till the train came, and and we went and we left to Dublin. My family was gone there too. The only one was still alive was two of my mother's brothers. That's the picture that you have. One of them was still alive. And another one, and a brother-in-law, and my cousin, that was left over from the whole family.
Was this a camp or a ghetto in
No,
Dublin?
it was a ghetto. It was still a ghetto. There was a camp already there, but some people could go back and forth. But I have to interrupt. I have to go to the bathroom. Okay?